And so, it begins. Dark were the skies and chill was the wind as the land was covered in a veil of malice. Across the hill did ride a dread army of the night, cloaked in mist and fog, prepared to rain down death and destruction upon the land. And the people cried out for a savior, a noble soul to save them from their impending demise. Just as it seemed all was lost, in strode a mighty hero, clad in shimmering metal from head to toe. Wielding a terrible broadsword, he did cleave his foes in twain, smashing their ranks asunder with a righteous fury. And when the day was done, and the enemy strewn across the fields in pieces, the people did turn to the warrior and say, "We shall name this day in your honor. Speak unto us your wisdom." Slowly the warrior turned to face the assembled crowd. Lifting his sword on high, he said but one word that day. One man, one murloc, one giant, angry badger. This is Blue Please. It begins now.
Yes, indeed, folks. Welcome to Blue Please right here on CynicalBrit.com. The date today is the 27th of May, 2011. It is 1 minute past 8 in the British Isles, and nobody cares about other times. Sorry, they don't. It's true. It's not my fault you're on the wrong side of the ocean, is it? What, you gonna blame me for it? Been a lot of blame been going around this week. Very, very amusing accusations, actually, from a lot of different people. I don't even know if we'll do mail time this week. I think we'll probably just have let's read random crappy blogs about me day. That sounds fairly reasonable. It's like, since I quit WoW, all of these tiny little blogs that nobody reads have decided the best way to get loads and loads of viewers is to write an article which disagrees with my stance for actually leaving the game. Usually backed up by a lot of, pretty much a lot of insults and things like that. It's fairly amusing, really. This is one here called MMOblog.co. It's a .co? Where the hell's the rest of it? And by God, it's the laziest URL I've ever seen. It's like it tails off at the end and just loses enthusiasm. MMOblog.co. It just doesn't have the rest of it. I don't even know what the hell's up with that. Apparently, real sites have .com and crappy little sites have .co. You can't afford the extra M. I have no idea. Some hilarious stuff. Really, really hilarious. It's not even right, for one thing. I'm just reading this article. I'm going to give you a link to it. I don't see why not. I mean, a couple of thousand people watching it. Oh no, they got some traffic. And this site is not monetized in any way, so I don't care. They're not earning anything from me linking it to you. I'm going to put you a link in it. I'll give you a link here. It's mmoblog.co /p, /P equals 318. So please don't tell me they've written 318 articles on this godforsaken blog. I have no idea. It's fairly ridiculous. I'm sorry, did I crash it? Oh, I crashed it. Whoops! Sorry, guys. Well, I've still got the page up. So, this is what happens. Be careful what you wish for, bitches! Right. Well, that was easy. Anyway. So I still have this page up, so I can read aloud from the Book of Nonsense, Chapter 5, verses 1 to 17. Here we go. Thanks to a certain internet celebrity with possibly the most annoying accent in the world. Yeah, this is the most annoying accent in the world, apparently. The standard tier upgrade is called Outrage. Of course, I'm talking about Total Biscuit in his video below this post. I only recommend watching it if you want to hear a near 15 minutes of crying. I like the definition of crying. His definition of crying seems to be about as accurate as his definition of writing a reasonable article, i.e. not at all. in any possible respect. Oh my. Goes on to say, first of all, hard modes have not been touched, and any decent hardcore raiding guild should be attempting hard modes by now. Pro frickin' tip! Most people aren't in hardcore raiding guilds! By any, and I do mean any stretch of the imagination. It's like, we don't care. Here's the thing. Yes, it's kinda nice that hard modes are in the game. They are not a substitute for real frickin' content. Because you know what? You gotta go through those normal modes multiple times. And let's be honest, I mean, this is the dumb thing about it. The kind of people that write these dumb blogs, the kind of people that can't see past their own frickin' noses, the kind of people that don't know anything about game design at all, who have no experience whatsoever in gaming for a long period of time, or actually getting inside the nitty-gritty of what makes a game work, game mechanics, game design philosophy, that kind of thing. These kind of people. You know, these are the kind of people that absolutely, under no circumstances, actually have the basic knowledge required in order to make any kind of comment on this kind of thing. As in, you are utterly and totally unqualified. So, let's go on, shall we, with the rest of this nonsense, as I have to read it for you since I crashed their site. Funny thing is, I didn't even do it on purpose, my god. The guy actually sent me this. The guy who wrote it sent me it via Twitter. And it's like he was possibly hoping that I would tweet it. It's probably a good job for you, mate, that I didn't. All I did was mention it on a live show and your site went down within 1.7 seconds. Good god, if I'd actually tweeted your site, you would have never made another blog again. Christ. Okay. Let's see what else we have. Yes, first of all, blah, 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 yes. And don't forget, there's the Firelands raid, which will be available for top-tier raiding. Yeah, it's got 7 bosses in it, which have all been beaten on the PTR already, and shouldn't be too hard to clear. I think it's a very selfish attitude to take. It shows a basic lack of understanding of the MMO market, or in this case, a basic lack of understand of the MMO market. Now, you see, my understanding of the MMO market is based on over 10 years' experience with the MMO market, including going back to MUDs, which one has to assume this guy doesn't even know exist. It's like, I have actually been playing the game since day one. I do know quite a bit about WoW, honestly. And if I didn't know a lot about WoW after 6 years of playing it and covering it in great detail, then that would be a really big problem. Very big problem. Here's the basic lack of understanding for you. WoW was at its most popular and its largest growth period while it had the hardest content available. WoW has lost subscribers during the period when the raid content has been nerfed. Fact. A convenient fact, I might add, that he decided to completely ignore. And goes on about stats. Current WoW subscribers, 12 million. Wrong! Current WoW subscribers, 11.4 million, after they lost 600,000 in the last month and a half. Yeah, that's a fairly large amount of people, folks. Let's do a little bit of basic mathematics, shall we? I know, it's exciting. Really, really exciting. Let's find out how much money they've lost as a direct result of that 600,000. Times by $15 a month. That, ladies and gentlemen, is $9 million per month. That's a lot of money. Oh, yes. That is a lot of money for any company. $9 million. Gone! And that's not even counting, of course, that some of those could have been European subscribers who pay even more. So get that into your heads. Basically, they've lost about $10 million a month just by doing this. That's a massive... You know, this is more money that they've lost in a month than you will make in your life. Think about that. Christ. Now, he goes on to say... Using stats to prove that it is in fact casual players who support WoW. Current WoW subscribers, 12 million. Wrong. Nefarian kills, 19,234. That's 32.62% of active current raiding guilds. Let's assume there's an average of 20 active raid members per guild. This means 384,680 players have cleared this content, even though this number sounds huge, it is in fact only 3% of the player base. Yes, you're right. Only 3% of the player base have cleared this content. Assuming those stats are correct, which of course they're not, but there you go. So, the excuse for nerfing it is where exactly? No, I'm still not hearing it. Let's go on, shall we, and see if there's any justification for this attitude. Other than, I am too terrible to clear this content, therefore they should nerf it down to my level, because I represent the casual player. Please. So by introducing these nerfs, Blizzard are opening up the content to guilds with less time to tackle the content. Wrong! Time has nothing to do with it. You've had time. You've had 6 months. You will continue to have time. Nerfing content has nothing to do with time. The dungeons are very, very small. Explain to me Cho'Gall, for instance. A dungeon, in fact, that can be cleared in about an hour and a half. It only has 4 bosses. And hell, I believe you can skip one of them. If I recall correctly, I know in heroic mode, you can skip the Council of the Elements, or whatever it is. So, you only have to do 3 bosses. So explain to me how time is a factor. It's not. Skill is a factor. Time has nothing to do with it. You know, the guys who play the least of this game, they're the hardcore guilds that beat the content and then stop doing it. The guys who play the most of this game are the casual scrubs that can't get their way through the content. They keep hammering their heads against a wall that they could only get over if they learned how to climb. They believe that the way to bring content down is by smashing their head up against the brick over and over again and hoping that basic erosion does the job, I have to assume. Because their heads certainly aren't. Perhaps that explains their stupidity. Concussions for all. The game is balanced so that all can enjoy it. Correct! It is balanced so that all can enjoy it. Does that mean that you have to have access to every single piece of content in the game? Yes. Does that mean you have to be allowed to kill every single piece of content in the game if you are not good enough? No! I have in my hand a video game that I bought from a store. It's called No More Heroes, Heroes Paradise, 100% uncut edition for the PlayStation 3. Yes, it's out in Europe. I am very happy to be in Europe right now. You want to know how this game works? It works like every other game on the planet. In order to get to the next bit, I have to beat the previous bit. The game doesn't make itself easier just because I suck, and it certainly, I might add, and this is the really important part of this analogy, if it were a single-player game and it made itself easier because I repeatedly failed, I suppose I could maybe accept that. I wouldn't like it, but at least it doesn't affect anyone else. In this case, what you're asking is for No More Heroes, Heroes Paradise, 100% uncut edition for the PlayStation 3, to make itself across the entire planet easier just because a bunch of people suck too much that they can't get past level 7. That is what you're asking for right here. That is the damage of nerfs. That is saying, oh, a load of guys in this game are fucking awful, and I say that with absolute conviction. Bear in mind how little I actually swear on this show, so that indicates to you how serious I am. A bunch of people within this game are fucking awful at it. As a direct result, we should take that content and flatten it completely for everybody. And how is that going to help exactly? It's not. To preserve this content exclusively the 3% of players that have the available time to invest in it is crazy. It's not time, it's skill. Just like lots of people don't get to the end of video games. They have to be able to beat it. With skill. Has nothing to do with time. One of WoW's strong points is the wide appeal to all manner of players, which it has always had and will still have. This is the point. This is why entitled casuals are called entitled casuals. You want to know why? I'll tell you why. Because they believe they're entitled to everything on a frickin' platter. Not only that, it must be delivered to them on the back of Chris Metzen, personally, who is riding a tiny little scooter. And he must then compliment them on their wonderful decision to spend $15 frickin' a month on this game, which entitles them to the best the game has to offer. You want to know what entitles you to the best the game has to offer? Being the best the game has to offer. Don't suck and you get places. Shock frickin' horror. 33% of total raiding guilds have killed Nefarian. That's a fairly significant amount that have killed the end boss of the current tier. Yes, and it is the end boss. You might say, oh, well, that's Sinestro. No, it isn't. That's optional hard mode content that a lot of people actually don't care about. And you know what? They're totally fine to do that. Because I understand exactly why they don't care about it. Oh, we've done this dungeon like 10, 20, 30 times already. Oh, let's do it with the bells and whistles mode activated. No! I don't play through games more than once most of the time, unless it happens to be Deus Ex or something along those lines. I probably will not play No More Heroes, Heroes Paradise 100% Uncut Edition for the PlayStation 3 more than once. I might not even beat it. In fact, I probably won't. Most of the games on my shelf I have not beaten. I'm okay with this, because I got the enjoyment that I wanted out of the game and I did not feel entitled to see the whole damn thing just because I happened to be of the wondrous superpower of owning a credit card. Congratulations, you can pay for a video game. You are surely upon a pantheon of the deities and titans right now. Good God. Let's continue with this ridiculous blog, shall we? Also, to not implement the gear upgrades would mean no progress for those of us who are bound to running heroics and never a chance to progress into a raiding guild, as they would all require gear from raids too difficult to pug, creating a broken bridge for new players. How about you create your own damn guild and stop crying that guilds don't want your sorry ass? They don't want your sorry ass because your attitude is fucking awful. Who the hell would want to recruit a guy like this? It's like saying, oh, right, okay. Let's see, let me just get my clipboard right here. This is not a clipboard, this is actually some chewable vitamins, but we're going to do it anyway. Here we go. Ah, yes. So, I see your attitude to work appears to be that you have no interest in doing it whatsoever. You don't have the requisite skills to do it, but would we pay you anyway and allow you to take up a position in the company simply because you have the right to exist and breathe? I don't think we're going to do that. That sounds freaking terrible. The reason you are not getting accepted into good guilds is because you are not a good player. You had every opportunity at the start of every expansion. In fact, the entire bloody thing resets. No problem whatsoever. Hey, I can just go join any damn guild I please, or I can form my own. You just need 9 people to like you. And I suppose, MMOblog.co, that is the frickin' problem, isn't it? You cannot succeed in getting 9 other people to tolerate your sorry ass for long enough to get any reasonable epics whatsoever. And then we go on to the crux of the argument. I think that Total Biscuit has shown his immaturity here. I think that MMOblog.co has shown their damn immaturity here by assuming that they're entitled to everything a game has to offer simply because they happen to have a wallet. And inside said wallet, there's a damn debit card. Congratulations! You can pay money just like everyone else in the bloody first world. Celebrate your achievement. Cry it from the damn rooftops. Write about it on your sorry blog, assuming it ever comes up again. Good God. Please. My immaturity. I'll tell you what maturity is. Maturity is taking a stand for your damn principles and not sticking around just because, 1, you're making money from the content, and 2, you happen to have a few friends that are sticking around within that game and some of your fan base likes it. That is called principles and a spine. And that, good sir, is what you do not have. My name is Total Biscuit. I will be right back after this. This is from the soundtrack for Frozen Synapse. It's called The Plan. Enjoy.